Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ravens Escape Crafts. I'm Sue, your yarn host here at Ravens Escape Crafts, and we talk about all sorts of things, crafting, yarn, life, all sorts of stuff. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, you know the deal. Sorry about the different angle today. It's not the best. It's not a flattering angle, but having trouble with my tablet didn't charge right, and so I'm just trying to get this. I'm trying to find a way so I can actually show you guys a little bit like my crocheting. So bear with me. But I did finish. So we always talk about finishes first. Oh, first off, I hope you all are doing well today. Let me get to the point where I can see you. Look at me more like this. I hope you all are doing well today. I do. I hope you all are doing well today. It's been a minute. It has, again, it's hard to film sometimes when everybody's like, So I've been trying to get a chance to film, and I just haven't. I know, excuses. But yeah. So what I finished. Okay, I finished this hood. Remember, showed you the blue hood I made. Well, this is a gray or a brown, and it's got browns and like a dark gray and a black stripe, and it's the hood. And of course, this could just be worn like as a hood. So it's actually really deep. So it could be worn as a hood, but then you can also add your own. Obviously, if you're going to do this, you're going to pull it back some. You can add your own pins. This looks really good with different kinds of pins, and then you can have it like this. You can wear it down, but it's a nice hood. It goes over your shoulders for cosplay and things like that. So yep, I think it's cute. I like it. I did the blue one, and then I did this one. I like the browns, so you can see the stripes. I like this one. So that's my newest finish. I have not. I said between everything and then these pills they have me on make me so tired and kind of I just have trouble concentrating on things. It's just I can't get stuff done. It's driving me absolutely crazy. I'm used to you know. And then it's been rainy, so I haven't. When it's damp and rainy, my feet. So, but we'll get to life stuff in a couple minutes. Let's do some yarn stuff first. Hold on. All right, I'm back. So I wanted to show you too. You can put the hood down on this and just wear it like a caplet with a hood. I didn't have a pin handy, so I just used a crochet hook. So I think it's cute. So the first thing I've been working on, and I want to finish this one with you, is I showed you when I got my Yarn Inspirations haul. This is the Grande Granny Square Red Heart yarn. And it does make really big. I'll show you. And we're going to finish this one up now. It makes really big squares. Really big squares. They have a lot of different colors in this, but the squares are humongous. So I'm going to finish this one up with you, and then I'll show you what else I've been working on. So we'll get a little chit chat time in. We're going to just do a little combo. But it is the typical, three, the triple granny square stitch with one in between to make these squares, and two at the corner, two singles at the corner, or two chains at every corner, one chain in between the stitches. And it has worked out pretty well for me. A couple of them are a little off sometimes, but you can either make it work, or I just kind of just keep going. So it does. I do like them. It's pretty. don't know quite what I'm going to make with these yet, but they're really pretty. I'm going to do something for Pride because obviously they're rainbow, so I'm thinking some sort of a Pride project, and we'll see. So then this orange should end here, but I'm running into, I have a lot of orange. So this one's not quite, see, I have some orange left before it turns into the red. And no, stop! Ugh. He's clawing at my bins. Sir. So I'm just gonna make it work. And then the red's the last row. There's only one row of red, so we'll chit chat while I do this. So yeah, this week's been a little nuts. The kids are nuts because they have so much going on. It's getting closer and closer to the end of the school year, so of course they have like of course we wait till like the end of the school year for everything to happen, and so they're stressed as stress can be. You know, we're coming up onto testing time, so they both have all kind of important tests to take, and then so that's a whole thing, and then concerts and what else do they have? I don't know. They have a lot of stuff. Well, like tomorrow on Friday this week they're supposed to do Special Olympics, which, you know, let me tell you, I'm like really mad because the school district is really, our school district, I don't know what is up with them. So like, they have all these plans. Now, I don't know, I'm going to say, I don't know who is making these decisions for certain. I've seen a lot of scuttlebutt on the Facebook groups and what I've heard from my kids, but so I don't know if this is like downtown, like, you know, superintendent stuff, or for sure, or if it's they have the worst time keeping a principal at their high school. Well, I shouldn't say that. So they had a principal who they hired, and she was terrible. She was terrible. And then they got rid of her, and then they hired another principal who didn't last like 3 months. And then, so then they had an interim principal who they had for almost 2 years, who was a principal that I was very well familiar with. Now this is the first year my kids went to the high school was this principal. He was actually the principal at the middle school that my kids went to. And so he was principal there. He got moved over to the high school while my son was in 8th grade. My older son was in 8th grade. So by the time he got to high school, he had the principal that he had in middle school. I loved this principal, okay? Let me tell you, I love this principal. I dealt with him. He was the principal, he was principal, like I said, at the middle school, and my son was going into 6th grade in 2021, so right after COVID. So we were, and I only say that so you understand. So they had all these things that needed to get handled, and so they were having Zoom meetings about them. And they asked if they had a committee. There was, basically, all right, let me get back. Let me go back a little bit. So there was this fund, okay, that was set up, like a trust that was set up for the school district. And all the money in the trust had to be spent by, I think it was the end of 2021, I think. I don't remember. Or 2022 or 20, I don't know. It was right around that time. So this money had been put in this trust. They had been using it for years, but the trust had an expiration date. So they needed to use the money from this trust for certain things by a certain date. Let's just go with that. So they had a committee that they formed, and it was people from the trust that were on the trust board. It was the principal, it was teachers from the school, and then they wanted parents and community members on there too, so that when they made decisions as to how to spend this money and what company to spend this money with, that they could be, it was a fair, group of people who just made this decision. And so they asked if there was any parents that were interested in being on this committee. I said I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. It was over the summer, was going to be this committee. The kids were home, but they were, most of the time they were going to camp or they were doing stuff, playing or whatever. So I was like, I'll do it if you want. I did not realize how much of a commitment it was going to be that summer, but so we had meetings and meetings and meetings. Oh my goodness. We spent this whole summer on meetings. Sometimes some of these meetings were 2 to 4 hours long, and sometimes they were multiple days a week. So basically, because we had meetings about what we wanted to do with the money, what the end goal was. People had to make presentations as to where they thought the funds should be, like where they do the best. And then, so people made presentations on that. People from the school, the district, and stuff like that. And then as a committee, we had to vote on what we thought was the target for these funds. So then once we came up with that, once we came up with the game plan, as to where we wanted to go with this, then we needed to find companies that could provide that kind of service to invest these funds in to help the school. So then we had to get, of course, because it's a government thing, we had to get different companies to come in, and we had to listen to what they do, like what they can provide, what they do, how they do it. So some of these were, the one presentation was 5 hours long. We had to take a break. We had to take breaks during this presentation. It was a lot. And we heard from a whole pile of companies. I think there was 10 or 12 companies that were involved. And then once we listened to all their presentations, then we narrowed it down to fewer. I think we went from like 10 or 12 down to 4. And then we narrowed those 4 down to 2. And then we had to have them come back and make presentations again. Those 2 or 3, I forget which it was. It's been a while. So then we had to listen to their big presentation. Like, this is exactly what we can do for your school. This is how we'll do it. Because this point, we gave them information about the school, how the school worked. And they met with some of the people at the school. And so then now they could give us they had to give us a presentation on, this is exactly how we'll do things at South Mountain. You know what I mean? So, that was long too. Oh my God. So then we had those presentations. And then we had meetings about those, to discuss those presentations, where everybody had to discuss, we had to all give our 2 cents about what we thought. And then, you'd think we were done. No. We gave them both a chance. We came up with lists of questions we had for them. And then we had them come back. And then we did more meetings where we could sit there with the representatives from the company and personally ask them questions that we had. And then We had more meetings to decide which company we thought we should go. Now keep in mind, even though we made the decision as to what company, the district itself still had the ability to go with a different company if they wanted to. Which they didn't tell us till the very end, to be honest. And so what I'm getting at is, sorry for the long rant. Like I said, my brain's a little frazzled. So what I'm getting at is I spent the entire summer with this principal, right? I mean, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours on meetings with him, talking to him. I got to know him really well. My kid wasn't even in that school yet. And I really liked him. I liked the way he talked. He was very honest. And I'm like that. I don't like to mess around. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not like, I'm not unkind honest, but I am brutally honest. Like, if you upset me about something, I'm going to tell you upset me about something. If something's bothering me about something, I'm going to tell you that something's bothering me about something. But in the same sense, like if I make a mistake, I'm going to tell you I made a mistake. Like flat out, like I screwed this up. I broke this. I did this. Okay, let's move forward. Like I can't fix it. Let's figure it out. And we're going to, I will do what I can to fix it. But I'm going to let you know. I'm not going to pretend that it didn't happen. I'm not going to make excuse after excuse after excuse. I don't like that. I just don't. I would rather have somebody just come to me. Like if I say something stupid, I would rather have somebody come to me and go, dude, why would you say that to me? And I'd be like, oh my God, no. Because I feel like a lot of stuff happens in our world that we take things the wrong way. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant. I feel like too many times things it's either taken out of context or taken the wrong way. Like, say you're just having a day. You're in a mood, or something's bothering you, something's niggling at you, you have a terrible headache. Who knows? There's a million things that could be wrong, and this is especially true for women. Like say you walk past somebody or you see somebody and they're like, oh, good morning. You're like, morning. Somebody might think, oh, well, what did I do? I was trying to be nice and say good morning, and she just went, or somebody asked you a question and you're in the middle of thinking about something else or trying to figure something out. And they're like, hey, did you know that, or did you see that Skittles came out with a new color? And you're like, yeah. And now they're like, oh, I was trying to tell her something. And she got all. And that's not always what you meant. You know what I mean? And so I'm the kind of person, like, if I'm like, good morning, you're like, morning. I'm like, whew, did I do something? I will say it right out. Like, did I do something? Is it me? And then that gives a chance person to say, oh my God, no. I'm like, oh God, no, I had like the worst headache this morning. Or, oh, I have a million things to do after work today. I'm just distracted. Or, this happened last night and I'm still not over it. Or, oh, my stomach hurts today. Or I have cramps, whatever, And I found a lot of times we take things wrong when, I don't remember where I was going with this, why I started this story. Oh, no, I don't know why I went off on that rant. So, what I'm brutally, okay, I know. Okay, I'm circling back. So, this principal, the one I was dealing with, he was like that. Like, he was not, like, you know, we do a meeting, and like the one, oh my God, the one company, this is just a perfect example. You know, the one company we listened to, and it was a terrible presentation, and it was nothing like what we were looking for. Obviously, like, my kids go to a semi-urban school, you know, and this stuff was like super bougie, you know, super bougie, like for, we only do for elite, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, this is not a good fit. This is not what we're looking for. You know, very like money centric, bougie centric. And, you know, we get off that call, they go away, and the rest of us are still on the call. And he's just like, well, that ain't gonna effing happen. I guess we could just write them off, you know. So, yeah, I liked that he was very, like, in your face, you know, this is how it is, this is what's going on. Didn't make excuses for himself or anything else. And I thought he was a really good principal. And then, so they had him as an interim principal at the high school that my kids go to. And, I mean, I never saw, so I'm on a bunch of groups for different things with the area I live in. And the school district comes up a lot, okay? With previous principals, I saw them getting complained about all the time, all over social media. While he was principal, I never once saw a complaint about the principal. Never once. And both of my kids loved him. Both of them absolutely loved him. He was very active with the kids, like having like a lot of celebration stuff for kids, you know, and they did like a lot of fun stuff, like a lot of fun contests and things for classes and homerooms and teachers and the students but like, what I mean is, like, he would do a lot of things to promote, like, attendance. Because they, you know, they have a lot of problems with attendance. He would do contests for that, where they could earn, like, it was like fake money. And then they had an online store, and you could buy, like, your teachers could give you fake money if you did good in class. You could get extra points for things. And then they had like an online store, and you could use those bucks to buy stuff. And some of it was just like, they would do like a special event, like, and you had to have so much dollars to go. Like, so, like, one afternoon you could spend the afternoon in the gym instead of going to class. You know, it was like all the kids that were doing it the same day. I mean, that's a big, you know, for a lot of kids. Or like, they would do an alternative. They have like, this afternoon we're going to show a movie in the auditorium. And if you get enough bucks, you can get yourself a ticket for the movie, and then you don't have to go to class. And he always did stuff for the honor roll and for kids that got, you know, for attendance, the kids that had less than 2 days out for the semester or the market period, whatever. He did a lot of stuff like that. And it was like, and it wasn't just like, oh, good job, you know. He got them like pizza and ice cream, and they had like a whole little party. It was incentive. Now, nothing. And I don't even know why they got rid of him. I mean, they should have just hired him as the permanent principal. He was a principal at other schools. But now they hired a lady at the beginning of this school year. Never heard of her. Never heard from her. Where he used to call. He used to have, they do those automated phone calls. Well, I mean, he used to call, and I would absolutely die laughing, because he would call last year and the year before that, and he would be like, tweet, 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 this is Sister So-and-so from, you know, and because their mascot's canary, and then he would be like, so, you know, like, the swim team is having their, you know, a meet tonight, and blah, blah, come, you know, cheer on your fellow canaries, and or any kind of thing, it was like, and it was always, and then he'd go tweet, 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 tweet. You know, he did this whole thing. He was so fun for, like, the kids liked him. I loved him as a parent. And then, like I said, they got this woman, and I couldn't tell you her name, nothing. We never got newsletters from her. We didn't get information from her. We didn't get phone calls from her. We get nothing from this woman. I have no idea what her name even was. And then she left. So now they hired another interim principal right at the end of the year. And now, from what I understand, she is canceling all this stuff. So she canceled, like, the kids' trip to New York City. She's canceled any trips that aren't, wow, how does she put it? Any trips that aren't specifically educational. So now they're canceling. Some of the kids are supposed to go to the Special Olympics. The Special Olympics. And then my kids are in band. So they usually have the bands perform for the Special Olympics. So, like, it's a bunch of schools in all the districts in the area. They have the Special Olympics at the one school at their big, because they put it in a big fancy stadium, a big brand new fancy stadium. So they have all their Special Olympics at this place, and all the bands perform, like, at lunchtime for the kids for Special Olympics. And then, so because of that, our kids from the band go along as buddies. They call them buddies. So what they do is they take all the kids who are participating in the Special Olympics and they buddy them up with another kid. And then that kid is, they all get shirts and they go around with their buddy and make sure that they get their, so the buddy gets the itinerary for the kid, like their kid for the day, or their buddy for the day. So my kids would get, so my kid is in band, right? So they're the buddy. So they get assigned to a kid. Let's say, Kid X. So now they get Kid X's schedule as to what events they're supposed to participate in for the day and what time they're supposed to be at everything. And then their job is to make sure that their kid is at the right place at the right time. And then to cheer them on the whole day and be their friend, My son did it last year. He had the best day. He said, oh my goodness, he said, this is the most fun I've had in a long time. He said he had this buddy who was like really, really nervous at the beginning. He had never participated in the Special Olympics before, so he was scared to do some of this stuff. He was scared he was going to make mistakes. And Logan was like, oh my goodness, it was like, he was so fun to like just cheer him on and say like, no, you got this, you got this, you got this. And then he said, his buddy was, when they did their band stuff, his buddy was like, oh, because he's like, you were brave enough to get out there and play an instrument in front of all these people. And my son's like, yeah, see, so you can do this too, Oh my God, I'm going to cry. These freaking hormones from these birth control pills. It's like, forget it. Yeah, and he came home and he was like in tears. He said, I had such a good day. It felt so nice to just be able to cheer somebody on and help them. And this kid was so excited. And he said, I just felt like this kid looked up to me so much. And he didn't expect that. You know what I mean? And he really enjoyed that leadership, that, but just that companionship that you don't always get from people. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, I felt like he was my friend at the end of this. Like, and he doesn't make friends real easily. You know what I mean? And now they might not go. they're not letting them play in the band. They're not letting them take their instruments. So they're not going to be able to perform. And now they're being told they don't know if they're even going to let them go at all. So you took away their trip to New York. Now you're taking away their thing for the Special Olympics. Which, if nothing else, they get a day where they get to go outside and play with other kids for a whole day. You know, and like, you ask these kids to spend half their summer sweating their butts off out in a field, you know, marching with heavy instruments, marching in the full sun. You ask them to stay after school, sometimes every day, to practice, except for Wednesdays. But my son's been after school, like even now, he stays every Monday night until 6 o'clock, every Friday night until 6 o'clock, rehearsing for their concert next week for jazz band. You know, and band and stuff, they do all these parades. You ask them to do all these events and fundraisers and stuff, all in their time. Most of them are not during school hours. These kids give up so much of their time to be in band. And then you give them these little perks at the end of the year for doing such a good job, and now those are getting taken away. And then you wonder why there's not as many kids in band as there used to be. You know what I'm saying? Alright, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on a rant. Back to the square. So we're just finishing this up. So this is the size and the colors. It's nice. It's the purple, blue, green. There are some that, like, green is only 1 row. Purple's 2 rows, blue's 2 rows, green's 1, and then yellow is 2, orange is 2, and then red's one row. So, got a kid off the bus. I guess I better show you some stuff real quick. Actually, I'll probably have to just come back. So there's that. I did not mean to rant about that. I was going to tell you a whole other stories, but I guess we could just talk about that. So I am working on, before he goes home, I am working on a bag too. So this is with that Bernat Maker Splash I was showing you. I guess I can just show you that. So this is what that looks like. I'm working on the handles now. I think it's a pretty colors. It's all kind of purples. I am working on the handles. So it's going to be a nice, like, meshy, but not too big a meshy. It's a nice summer bag for stuff. Beach bag, shopping bag, whatever you want it for. And this is like a nice polyester, so this will wash like real hot. You can wash it real hot, throw it in the dryer. It's not going to, you know, so if you do put, if you get stuff on it, or if you put food and stuff in it, whatever, and you don't want it, you can, this will be the kind of yarn that you could throw in the wash on hot. It's not going to hurt it. Going to throw it on the dryer as hot as you want it. It's not going to shrink. It's not going to, you know, do any kind of funky stuff. So I think this bag is going to be cute. I'll show you to you when I'm done too. And my squares. Oops, threw it on the floor. So yeah, so this is how big they are. Let me get a, old people problems. Let me cut this off and finish it. And then the purple starts again, and you can just start your next one. Like I said, I know a lot of people don't like these yarn to make granny squares out of. I do. Yeah, so that's the size. So let me get my ruler out. It is going to be just under 12 inches. I think they said they're supposed to be about 12. Now they called for about 11. About 11 by 11 mine are showing. When I lay it down. Now they call for a 5.5 millimeter hook. I had to go down to a 5. So 5.5 was not working for me. But so far, I did the first ball. I did get, it only makes 4 squares. Like I said, they're huge. So out of 2 balls, I will have 8 squares total. So we'll see. I think maybe like a bag. I don't know. If you guys have some suggestions, what you think would look nice with this, with these, let me know. And what color should I put with it? If anybody has any ideas. So that's, I'm working on those. And then for reading, only thing I finished was I finished Joe Hill. It's 21st Century Ghosts. This is not a newer book. This is an older book. And it's all short stories. And it was really good. Joe Hill, if you don't know, is Stephen King's son. And I love the sides of this. I'm going to show it to you again. I know I showed it to you before. He is... So, Stephen King... I love Stephen King. I love Stephen King. But I don't think... A lot of his stuff is not really horror. It is psychological horror. Because a lot of his stuff doesn't really involve scary stuff. But it will mess with your head. It will mess with your head hard. Which I think sometimes is a little scarier than true horror. To be honest with you, it messes with my head more than true horror does. Because, you know. But this is good. He's more true horror. Like, he has a lot more scary elements in his stuff. But also messes with your head. So, he's like the best of both worlds. Some really good short stories in here, if you like it. My biggest problem was I couldn't read it all at once because the stories are so thought-provoking. I would read one and then go to start the next one, and I'm still processing the last one, so I'd have to stop. So, if that's what you're into, really good book. Like I said, it's not new. It's an older one that was reprinted again, but it is definitely worth a read. I like Joe Hill. And yeah, so that's what I've been working on. That's what I've been reading. As far as, I had a new aid this week a little bit because my other aid is having some stuff. So I had a fill-in aid, except today I didn't have any aid at all. But that was a whole, I'm going to have to tell you that because that was a whole funny story. Oh, the drama. Oh my goodness, the drama. I just want, yeah. So I'll tell you, like the part I want to tell you though, before I go, because my son's going to be home any minute. So I was, yesterday, she had to come in because my regular aide had a doctor appointment yesterday morning. And she was planning on just going to the doctor and then coming right after while the doctor found some stuff and wanted her to go for tests. So she's like, I'm not going to be done before, you know, any kind of time to come to your house. I said, okay, that's fine. So she called the office and they sent the same girl, because she had planned day off on Tuesday. So they had sent me a fill-in girl. So they sent the fill-in girl yesterday again. So now I knew her. And, oh, so I learned a lot about her on Tuesday. That's a whole, like, there's no way I could fit that. You won't want to sit here and listen to that whole, I'll tell you about that in another video. But yesterday, it was funny because she came a little late and she was flustered because, of course, they didn't contact her till 9 o'clock to tell her she was supposed to be here at 8, like, after she could come in, you know, so she didn't get here till like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. And then she had a million plans. She had told them she didn't want to work yesterday because she had a million plans because she has people coming over for the weekend, like who were going to stay at her house. So she wanted yesterday to get some stuff cleaned up. So she didn't want to work yesterday, but then she heard it was me, so she decided to come because she really liked being here. So she's supposed to leave at 2. It's like 2 o'clock. I'm like thinking, okay, she's about ready to go. No. She's just sitting here. Then all of a sudden, at like quarter after, she's like, I should probably call my Uber to come get me, or like, you know, not call, but you know, I should probably get my Uber. And I'm like, oh, you didn't get your Uber yet? I thought she was waiting for her Uber because she Ubers back and forth. And she's like, oh no, I didn't even put in for one yet. I'm like, I thought you had a million things to do that you wanted to get home. She goes, oh, but I don't really want to do any of them. And she's like, it's really peaceful here and I don't want to leave. So she clocked out and sat here until almost. So my son's coming home now. It's after he usually walks in about 2:35, and she was walking out to the Uber when he was coming in. So yeah, apparently, you know, still want to leave my house. So she's like, it's so peaceful in your house. She's like, I just want to hang out here. She's like, oh, I wish I could just stay here for a while. I'm like, well, the kids are coming home soon. It's not quite as peaceful, although it's not that bad. And so now I had trouble getting her to leave. And then she left her cup here. She has like a big Dunkin' Donuts, like the, you know, a metal travel mug, like this kind of cup, like put my iced coffee in. So she brought that with her yesterday. Fancy pink one with the thing on the top. You know, she has the add-on thing for her straw and all that jazz. And she left, and I'm like, oh no. Like, she was gone. Like, she was gone for a while. And like I said, she was in an Uber. So if she was driving, I probably would have called her and been like, hey, you left your cup here. But I'm like, oh, she's not going to want that Uber to turn around. So I thought, well, I can always give it to my aide, have it take her take it to the agency, and they can get it back to her. So then she called like a half hour later. She's like, girl, I left my cup at your house. I'm like, yeah. I said, well, we'll wash it and put it aside for you. I said, do you want me to send it to like the agency? Oh, hi, Michael. Say hi to my video. Oh.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. There's Michael. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, do you want me to give it to like my other aide so she can give it to the agency to get back to you or whatever? She's like, no. She's like, I'll be at your house again. I'll get it when I come back next time. Telling the story about yesterday about Crystal. Today I had no aid at all.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll tell you about what happened. It's not a big deal, but so. All right, so thank you all for watching. I just wanted to get a video in. I know I had limited time today, but I wanted to make a video if I could, because we're supposed to have game club this afternoon, so I thought I'd have plenty of time to record, but no. Mr. Frederici and Mr. Kibler, if you're out there, I know you don't watch my videos, but if you did, this is on you. They're supposed to have D&D club. But you failed again. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. You disappoint the kids, you disappoint me. I know Mr. Verderisi's having health problems, so he gets slight pass, but I understand Mr. Kimbler just made plans with another club today. I think it was an excuse, but all right, enough of me being silly. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. With my crochet hook in my hand, I appreciate each and every one of you, each and every one of you, each and every one of you, every single day. So, I feel like a conductor. It's on 4/4 and harps and Michael. He's not doing his part. And Michael.
What part am I supposed to play?
I don't know. That's your job to figure out, not mine. So I appreciate you all. Sorry, I'm silly sometimes. But you know that. If you watch my channel, you know that. So I appreciate you all. Choose love. No. Do something nice for yourself today. No matter what it is, and every day. And choose love every day. Bye, everybody.